Welcome everybody. Let's take a look at the market. First thing we're going to do is switch over to the Dow Jones Transportation daily chart. We probably don't need the universe indicator at the moment. So we'll turn that off. Okay. Daily chart, Dow Jones Transportation. Yeah, still just tracking sideways, sitting right around, what is this, 15,400. So this cycle continues to look kind of weak here. Not very strong at all. Something like that. Maybe a left-hand translation does a big dive bomb. Okay, but so far it's been pretty weak, just tracking sideways. So let's go over to the Russell 2000, see what's going on there. A little bit stronger than the Dow Jones, but not much, but trying to get momentum here. But basically so far it's been stuck below 2100. Today I think it got above it a little bit, 2104 we'll call it. So there is a little bit of price increase going on here. You can tell we got this wacky looking triangle going on here, right? It's basically a triangle. Bomb, bomb, bomb. Okay. So if you don't know about candlestick patterns and shapes, you should probably study them. They'll help you out and give you kind of an idea of what price may do based on those shapes. Okay. But right now this still looks pretty weak to me. Not super strong. Let's look at the daily cycle here. September 23rd. So this would have a lot of work to do to repair this big decline. Don't think it's going to happen. Maybe 2200 is the max, 2150. That's probably as high as I think it's going to get. All right, let's take a look at, we'll look at the NASDAQ index here. Stronger. Yesterday was a little bit of a gap up there, so that means overnight futures had a little gap up yesterday. And then today, a nothing burger, just basically closes it practically as a doji here. Opened up at 19,043, closed at 19,022, so down just a little bit. And yeah, I think it's, I think this is going to run out of gas. I really don't think it's going to get a huge, I don't think it'll get above 20,000 here. I don't think that's going to happen. Let's take a look at, see if we can get a cycle going on here. Thought I drew a cycle on this, could be wrong. I mean, this would be a natural place to pull a cycle, a really big one. Where does that go? That goes way out there, huh? That was, yeah, November 17th. I could have swore saved a cycle here. Let's save this. Let's save this. We'll call it daily. That looks like a very predictable cycle right there. Really big cycle. Makes this yellow. Okay, so that's out in November, which, what do you know, is pretty much where S&P 500's big cycle is. So both the NASDAQ and S&P 500, of course, they tend to track each other. Might be a second cycle here. Let's see if we have it. Sometimes we'll get two cycles. Let's just see how this lines up. Bing, bing. Yeah. This is pretty good. This is another cycle that looks valid to me. So we'll make this one green. And that one comes out to October 16th. Another very popular time is the third week of October. Okay, so there you go. We'll keep those on there. Admittedly, this NASDAQ does have a little bit of a, more than a little bit, it's a very strong upward price action going on here. So this one we'll keep an eye on. Natural resistance point would be right around 19,500. And then another one above that would be right in this area, about 19,000, right about 20,000. Okay, so those are kind of areas you can keep an eye on if you're trading the NASDAQ. Let's look at the Nike 22K and see what's going on over in Japan. Yeah, it looks like it's going to run out of gas. Just looks like to me it's going to get up here, price is going to continue to increase, and this momentum's going to try and then fail. Try and fail, something like this. That's my guess is on the Japanese market. I just don't think it's going to get enough. I don't think it'll get above 40,000 here. Okay. Let's take a look at the Japanese yen for some currency. These are futures we're looking at here, not the Forex. Yep. Big, massive run up, tracking sideways. Very strong, the yen. Even though you have the SMI coming down, the yen's like, nope, we're just going to track sideways. So right now the yen is still very strong. Despite what media says and anybody else tells you, the yen is still very strong, right? It's super bullish here as far as momentum goes. Look at this. Okay. Yen's still very strong. Yes, it has a cycle low out here, and yes, it tends to dip in the middle of a cycle. My guess is this is going to do one of these deals and then go up again. And then maybe down. Who knows? But usually that would be a very typical pattern. Down into the center of the cycle, maybe down a little more, and then spike at the end of the cycle, and then down a little bit again. Something like that. Okay, that's usually a very typical pattern. Let's look at the U.S. dollar, which has got to be still taking a beat down here. Boy, today was down even more. So today it got down as low as 102-ish. 0.25, we'll call it 102.27. And this dollar's in trouble. This thing is L weak. Look at that. This thing is going to get destroyed. I'm telling you right now, the dollar's going to get absolutely pummeled. Dollar's in trouble, folks. And, you know, I've been talking about this last few days. There's another one, October 13th. So look at this. U.S. dollar is out there. Same as the NASDAQ cycle low. They're all out here October 13th. And then there's another one first week of November. Those are two big, huge date range for a lot of products, currencies to fail and well, at least have a cycle low. Okay, fail may not be the right word, but cycle low. But the dollar looks like it's in a whole lot of trouble here. And I believe it's going to go below $100. And I think this is just the beginning of big trouble for the dollar for quite some time. Okay, let's see. Let's now take a look at the S&P 500. We'll use the futures like we always do to take a look at that. Today was a small green day right there, range of 49. Well, I shouldn't say small, medium-sized green day. Okay. I told members I thought that it might be a down day, but it's been strong. Been a nice run up here. Makes sense. This is still doing its upward thing. August 22nd here, October 2nd out there. You know, these cycles, this cycle may need to be rethought. Let me just look at this cycle here. Trying to get a sense of this pattern here. Yeah, that's an interesting spot that we had this price decline. Yeah, kind of okay here, but not great over here. I mean, that is the big cycle. That cycle there is huge. Which, yeah, makes sense here, here, and here. This big monster cycle. What do you know? There it is, November 6th. Okay, see, this is that big monster cycle that just keeps showing up. Okay, we'll put it on there. Actually, we'll make it green. So there it is as well for the S&P 500. November 6th. Okay. So expect something significant to happen November 6th because it tends to be a big, fairly big. Well, this one wasn't that big. This one was kind of big. Right? Boom, boom, boom. And it's going to probably happen November 6th-ish. Okay, so that's a cycle for the S&P 500 on the daily chart. Take a look at the weekly on this. What's going on the weekly here? Okay. 54.95. Well, it's kind of an old support area. Doesn't make much sense as far as resistance goes. Resistance would be more like 55.88. So if we really want to do this right, more like 55.88 would be, which would be the top of these two little candlesticks right here. Okay. So we can edit this, put each of these at 55.88. Okay, we'll have to move it around, shorten the line, but that makes sense to me right there. The top of those candlesticks, the top of that body, the top of this one. See, 1, 2, 3, 4 candlesticks, all upper wicks. This one's upper body, 2 upper wicks. See, you got to be looking for stuff like that for your support areas. Okay, so that's what that is. So that would be not support, resistance. That's a very natural organic resistance spot for the S&P 500. Do I think it'll get up to 55.88? It could. It could. It is possible. That's about 100 points from where we're at. It is doable. Okay. So that's a weekly. Okay, let's go take a look at the intraday charts and see where were the trades of the day. Were there any good trades of the day today? All right, today we're looking at the 15-minute chart. There's also a really good trade in the 5-minute chart, but we want to look at the 15-minute chart. And this is really important. And I say this all the time, and I always repeat this because it'll make you a much better trader, and that's looking at multiple time frame charts. Right? You know, often we look at the 5-minute chart, but today the 15-minute chart gives us a great trade. Okay, it's pretty obvious where it's at. 9:45 this morning, my time here in Texas, Central Time, bam, we get this huge plum candlestick. We get an indicator on the Get Us Plus indicator. It says, hey, guess what? I think there's a trade here, and boy, was it right. Bam-o. We have momentum starting to cross over. SMI takes off, and this thing just goes ballistic. Okay? So even if you wait at the very end of this candlestick, which is fine, we'll call it about 54.60 area, all the way up. Even if we just take it to the block to 54.80, that was 20 points on a really like small, well, medium-sized day. I think the total range was 49, if I remember right, for the whole day. So guess what? You're picking up not quite half, but definitely more than a third of the points for the entire day. 20 points right there. There's your trade of the day. Massive trade of the day. So we all know how to do this. Add the 2 zeros. We get $1,000 for 1 E-mini. There you go, $1,000 today to trade 1 E-mini, and $100 if you trade a micro. Super awesome. I mean, this is such a great trade. This is an exactly ideal trade. It gives you everything you want. I mean, the SMI doesn't quite come to the bottom here and touch, but almost does. You get a signal. It goes bam. It comes way up here. It tells you, okay, I'm running out of gas right there as it starts to roll over. You get a red candle, finishes a red candlestick, right? 15-minute chart, red candlestick. Okay, you're out, right? You get out. That's why, guys and gals, I only take when I talk about profits, you know, I talk about blocks, you know, these lines. I don't talk about the tips and the very bottoms because it's just not realistic, right? You're not going to catch the entire range, but you want to catch the meat of it, so to speak. So when I talk about profits, I never include the tip to tip because nobody's doing that. Anybody that tells you they're catching the very tip and the other tip, the entire range, they either got really lucky that day or they're just flat out lying about it. Okay. So $1,000 pretty easily here, $100 for micros. Let's take a look at the 5-minute chart because it was a really good trade on there as well. Okay. Can you guess where it's at? I mean, you know, if you look through the night, all through the night here. Okay, this pretty much tracked for the most part all night at 54.60. Okay, some pre-market stuff going on here, right? Starts getting busy. And where's the most optimal trade of the day? Okay, so we're going to come back to intraday now, or this might be still pre-market. Doesn't really matter. Okay, and you know what I'm going to say here to my members, right? You got to be up in the morning to make the bucks. If you're snoozing, this one happened at when? Okay, 9 o'clock. No reason to be sleeping then if you want to make any money trading. 9 a.m. There it is. Get Us Plus says, hey, I think we got a trade coming up here. But bam, it starts to curl up. Take the trade right here on this candlestick. Yeah, you had to sweat through a pretty big drop and then it took off. You're not always going to get exactly ideal price action. Another thing you could have done here is you could have just got out when this came back down and break about even or lose a little bit. Right, as soon as you start to see this candlestick going red, you could just get out. Maybe you break even, maybe you lose a few bucks. Okay, don't sweat it. It's part of trading. Once this thing, okay, didn't reach the top, that definitely probably myself would have gotten out right there. Okay, boom, it comes down, and then it didn't reach the bottom. Okay, momentum crosses over a little bit later. Now you're back in the trade. See, a lot of people, they get emotionally injured. When this happens, this stuff happens right here, they get emotionally injured. I can't trade for the rest of the day. I lost 50 bucks. I lost 100 bucks, whatever it is. Look at all the money you lost by not re-entering. Or the money, not necessarily lost, but the money you left, if so to speak, or didn't tap into, right? So a lot of people get emotionally injured off of one trade and they don't trade. And they just watch the profits go rolling by. You can't be a immature little emotional baby about trading. You just can't. You have to be tough. This is what trading is. Because look at all this money that was made. The 15-minute chart was a better chart to be looking at as far as staying in the trade. But if you did do it on the 5-minute chart, it's still extremely profitable. You just had to get out on this candlestick probably halfway down. Okay? And then once you saw it didn't touch the bottom here and started to roll up again, you're back in the trade. And then from there, we had positive momentum. Geez, from about 10:30 all the way. It stayed positive. Look at this. Positive momentum. Of course, this is a big crossover here. You know, you're up here, you get this candlestick, you get 2 red candlesticks, just get out, right? 2 red candlesticks, get out, that's all. No big deal. You take your trade up here to about, again, 54.80. Okay, so this one would be 54. See, with this trade, you might probably lost a little bit of money here, but you got in earlier. 54.50. The 5-minute chart gave you an extra 10 points better than the 15-minute chart. So in this case, you picked up 30 points. And maybe over here you lost. I could see losing 5 points, maybe 7 points. So realistically, let's make this 22 points. Okay. Let's make that 22 points rather than 30. So now you made $1,100. Okay, or 110 bucks out of micro. And that's why you don't just allow yourself to become emotionally damaged. And that's also why you don't take really big positions. Because when you do have to jump out of a trade, okay, you take small hits. But if you're maxing out your account and taking maximum position size, then the emotional damage is not just the market going against you. Some of it's your own fault because you're not exercising wisdom with appropriate position size. Okay, retail accounts, guys and gals, you don't want to be using maximum position size. I say it all the time. The long game is medium to small positions over and over again. That's how you continually build up your account. Big positions are for suckers, okay? Or people who are millionaires, all right, who can withstand big position losses. Okay, that's not you, all right? $7.99 is membership. Join. I don't know what people are waiting for. Just join. Yes, my business is a very conservative business. And no, I don't like people on the left, and I just say it. So if you're conservative, come on and join. Very conservative environment. The Discord server is great. If you're a Democrat or a leftist, socialist, whatever you want to join, you can join. Just don't bring your political garbage here. And guess what? If you don't like that, too bad. I don't care. And I'm being dead serious. I don't care. If my business is going to be filled primarily with conservatives, so be it. For those that are leaning left that are members, don't take it personal. But I just, I can't stand the left and what they've done to America. And I'm not going to change my mind about it. And I don't really care what the left thinks about me. If you're a member, that's great. You're a Democrat, no problem. I don't, I'm not going to kick you off the service, okay? But just don't get political with me on my server. Ain't going to happen. Not going to be allowed. But if you want to join, $7.99, great place for conservative-minded people. Okay, I'm making it as plain as it can be. Come and join. It's a really good environment. We don't censor, conservative views like Google and YouTube. They're constantly censoring people. And everybody knows, anybody who's on the right that's ever tried to post anything about COVID, about high inflation, about Biden and his shady crimes overseas, in Ukraine. You could go the long list of DOJ abuses, FBI abuses of against conservatives, the things they've done to Donald Trump, the assassination attempt, any of that stuff you try to speak on YouTube, they constantly censor it because that's what Google is. And the court has decided that Google is a monopoly, and rightly so. And they're going to hopefully finally get their due justice. But there are other platforms where speaking the truth is allowed, thank God. And that's the platforms that are going to get my support and my attention. So join the membership, $7.99. You can see there's a lot of profit being made with my service. Okay, you get the streaming charts, the S&P 500 streaming charts, the 5-minute, the 15-minute, the 1-hour chart. You also get gold streaming charts, so you can ask about that when you join. There's a nightly email that goes out. You get 5 different charts in the nightly email. You get the S&P 500 weekly and daily, and you get the 2-hour directional charts, which I'll show you one right now. These charts are really powerful. We'll just look at the SPX. Okay, I'll switch to the 2-hour chart here. And okay, that probably shouldn't be there. Is that weekly? Yeah, I don't know what that is. This is probably I'll deal with the cycles later. Okay, they're not really supposed to be on this chart. Okay, I just need to label it. But here you go. Here's a 2-hour indicator. Okay, you can see it was red for a long time, meaning this 2-hour directional indicator is telling you stay short side trades. If you're trading options, that would be your option strategies need to be the short side. That might be just simple puts, but there could be other option strategies you use to take advantage of a declining market. Okay, now we can see the last 2 sessions here, the S&P 500 is starting to turn green. Okay, so it's suggesting to start trading long. This very powerful chart. Okay, if you don't have time to trade intraday, then for swing traders, this 2-hour chart is a blessing, man. It is a blessing. Okay, so this is one of the 5 charts that you get every night in email. You get one for the SPX, you get one for the NDX, and you get one for the Russell 2000, the RUT. Excuse my chicken scratch here, okay? And then you get, like I said, you get 2 other charts on that email every night, the S&P 500 daily and weekly chart, which are super helpful, okay? That email goes out every night, Monday through Thursday. And I give my opinion about what I think the market's going to do the next day, all right? Let's see what else. There's also premium symbols on the server. You can access those, look at the premium symbols. Some of them are really good. There's futures in there, optionable stocks and symbols, industries, even symbols that for shorting. A lot of good symbols in there. All right, there's a lot of value for the $7.99. I mean, today I showed you how you could have made $1,100 trading the S&P 500 futures, okay? How many years does that pay for your $7.99 membership? Okay, even if you're trading micros and made $100 today, I mean, how many months of membership does that pay for? Okay, so join, because the likelihood is if you're patient and you're smart with your position size and you use the service the way it's supposed to be used, you're probably going to make more than enough money to cover the membership, okay? All right, that's it for today. God bless everybody. Hope everybody had an awesome day of trading. There's going to be plenty of opportunity in the markets, guys and gals. So talk to you all real soon again next time.